On Wednesday, Raila Odinga Jr. paid a courtesy call to Oscar Sudi at his residence in Kapsaret constituency in Nandi County. The two gentlemen then later on attended a funeral of one of their mutual friends, Gregory Koech. Raila Jr. and Oscar Sudi have been friends for a very long time. In fact, Oscar Sudi is a close family friend to the Odinga family. And that friendship can be traced back to Fidel Odinga. Oscar Sudi was very close and was tight friend to the late Fidel Odinga. So he has maintained the friendship with the family. But the meeting yesterday is significant politically speaking, because Oscar Sudi and Fidel Odinga have always met. They're always meeting, but they've never made it public. The mere fact that the two gentlemen decided to make this particular meeting public means there's some political objectives which they wanted to achieve. I want to give you for an example. When Oscar Sudi was arrested for abusing President Uhuru Kenyatta's mother, and he was taken to, I think, some remand in Nakuru, Raila Odinga Jr. visited Oscar Sudi severally, and they never made it public. But in this case, they made the meeting public. Let me just grab my phone and see what Oscar Sudi updated. I'm just trying to look at these photos, and I can see Oscar Sudi, I can see Raila Jr., I can see another gentleman here. The next photo, I can see the two gentlemen walking majestically, I think now leaving. Okay, there's a fourth guy there, and these two gentlemen are walking majestically. And one photo attracted my attention. When Oscar Sudi was speaking on phone, and Raila Odinga Jr. standing somewhere. From that photo, you can easily tell that Raila Odinga Jr., even from the way he was walking in this compound, is actually not a new visitor to this home. So this visit, the mere fact that they made it public, means they wanted to achieve some political objectives. And the question is simple. What were some of the political objectives which Oscar Sudi and Raila Odinga Jr. wanted to achieve by sharing these photos? Now, I forgot to read for you what Oscar Sudi updated, which is important. Let me just get it. Oscar Sudi is saying that this morning I hosted my friend Raila Odinga Jr. in my Kapsaret home. We had a successful discussion over a number of issues. We look forward to having more of such similar meetings to strengthen our family ties, considering that Baba Raila Odinga is also my close friend, which is the truth anyway. We later joined mourners at the burial of our mutual friend, the late Gregory Koech. May Greg rest in peace. Now, from that statement by Oscar Sudi, also, there's something which you can get from it. And why do I believe that this meeting was intended to achieve certain political objectives? Now, this is why Oscar Sudi is not your ordinary member of parliament. If you take William Ruto and his camp, the most close ally to the deputy president, if you ask all those operatives around the deputy president, is basically Oscar Sudi. Oscar Sudi is what David Murathe is to President Uhuru Kenyatta. What about Raila Odinga Jr.? Raila Odinga Jr. is the son to the former prime minister. And by virtue of being the son to the former prime minister means that anything he does, any meetings, have some political implications. I am sure, and that's why the photo where Oscar Sudi was picking on phone to someone and Raila Odinga Jr. was there, I'm imagining either Oscar Sudi was talking to Raila Odinga. If not, he was talking to the deputy president about Raila Odinga Jr.'s presence in his home in Kapsaret. But what do you think were the objectives of this meeting? Objective number one for me is that the main reason why these photos were shared is basically Raila Odinga Jr. political strategy. Anybody who's followed Raila Jr. will tell you that is, as much as he's not actively involved in politics, Raila Odinga Jr. is a shrewd politician. And there's a way he's doing his things which makes him distinct from even the ODM party. Remember, sometimes back, he caused a huge storm within ODM party by claiming that ODM party are not doing the things the right way. Basically, ODM party was veering off their original agenda of reforms and liberation of the country. I think by that time, I think who had been arrested, and he was not very happy about that. Then he also called for an overhaul within ODM party. So Raila Odinga is sharing photos with Oscar Sudi at Oscar Sudi's residence. And as Kenyans, we've been discussing this meeting. So basically, he set agenda for us. And I'm sure he was reading some of these comments and he was laughing. I remember asking him, Junior, what was the objective of this meeting? I'm still waiting for his response. He's not responded to my question. Probably he thought or knew I wanted to get some stories for this channel. Number two, I think it's about family ties. And this is where politics and family issues are different. And basically, the main reason why I did my yesterday's video about Uhuru Kenyatta snubbing William Ruto's daughter's wedding was that personally I thought that as much as the deputy president has some differences political with his deputy, their social life, their family lives was continuing normally. Oscar Sudi, despite the fact that he's a close ally of the deputy president, despite the fact that Raila Odinga Jr. is the son to Raila Odinga, these two gentlemen have never stopped being friends. Sometimes last year, Oscar Sudi had lunch with Raila Odinga, and according to them, they just bumped onto each other. You know, in politics, things don't just happen like that. But the truth is, it's about family ties. These families are close. And that's why someone like Gregory Koech is a mutual friend to both of them. So that's number two. Number three is that this meeting is also raising questions about possibility of William Ruto and Raila Odinga alliance. I know it's going to be very difficult for Raila and Ruto to work together, but it can't be ruled out. If William Ruto's closest ally, Oscar Sudi, can meet with Raila Odinga's son and share a table, eat together, then in politics, nothing is impossible. I don't want to rule out the possibility that these two gentlemen were sending a message, because when you see Oscar Sudi, you see Ruto. When you see Raila Odinga Jr., you see Raila Odinga. And then the two now means an alliance, a possibility. Number four is also a message, in my considered opinion, to Kenyans about politics. That as much as we politic, then we must consider that beyond that, we are human beings, we are friends, we are families. Look at it this way. Raila Odinga Jr. had breakfast at Oscar Sudi's residence. Then he went to attend a funeral of another close ally, a close friend, Gregory Koech. While that's happening, there is a Kenyan somewhere who cannot share a table with a Luo because he's a Kalenjin, or a Luo who cannot share a table with a Kikuyu, or a Kikuyu who doesn't want to see anything to do with the Luos. So basically, these guys are sending a message to Kenyans that they should separate politics from other issues. I remember just after the last election, just this period when people were going for the rerun, I was seated in a vehicle, a mat in Nairobi. Just seated, you know, I was staying easy sides, Spring Valley huko kuelekea. So majority of the people in that vehicle were basically Kikuyu. Then another lady was on phone call, and this lady was talking a lot of nonsense about a fellow colleague who is a lawyer. That the lawyer had believed that Raila was going to be the president. You know, was there seated in that vehicle, surrounded by other Kenyans. But my mind was that most of them were Kikuyus because of the language they were speaking. So when we moved up to around the Grogan area, as she was still on phone, because that phone call took a very long time, someone from outside just picked the phone and took off. I remember telling the lady that whatever you are saying on that phone call, on that phone, I want you to remember it. That your problem and that lady's, that other person's problem and my problem are the same. Because you've been mugged. And chances are that you've been mugged, I mean, you've been, your phone has been stolen by probably your fellow tribesmen. So you're facing the same challenges as Kenyans. So I think it was a strong message to Kenyans. And lastly, I'm also reading a message which Oscar Sudi and Raila Jr. sending to President Uhuru Kenyatta and his allies. That there are options which still can be explored. That there's a chance that Raila and Ruto can still work together. So they're sending a message to President and his allies. I don't know what you think. Let me hear your thoughts about this particular meeting. And by the way, tomorrow I'll be in Mombasa. So if you are in Mombasa, we can have tea tomorrow. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.